Hello my friends and welcome to a brand new feature on this channel. This is something I've wanted to do for a very long time, and we'll see if it sticks, we'll see if there's a demand for it, but it's something I'm very passionate about. I'll give you a clue. Well, if you're watching you already know, but it's about this, Star Trek. Now, I'm a massive fan of film, television in general, and science fiction and fantasy in particular. But if you nailed me to the wall and asked me what my very favourite thing is of that genre, Star Trek wins it hands down. So we're going to start with Star Trek, the original series, the one with all the plastic rocks, and even I'm not old enough that I was born when this was filmed and aired the first time. So we're going to watch the pilot episode today and react to that and see how it stood the test of time, how it's aged, what social statements and values are there that don't hold up today, for example. My first memories of Star Trek were of watching it with my mother in the sort of, I imagine it would be the late 70s, when I first was aware of it, and it used to be on the TV on a Thursday night on the BBC here in the UK where I live, as reruns or repeats as we call them. And the very first memory I have of watching a Star Trek with my mother was watching an episode which is from the first season of the original series called Arena. The plan is, if this takes, if people like it, I'll rewatch every Star Trek episode ever, because I've watched every Star Trek there's ever been, and there's a lot of it. There's movies, there's spin-off series galore. It's still going today. They're making new Star Trek to this day, and I absolutely love it. Always have, always will. I'll watch any Star Trek that they put out there. Some is great, some is mediocre, some is really bad, and we'll comment on that and get everyone's opinions along the way, for sure. But anyway, to this first one. This is our pilot episode, and we're reviewing the very first Star Trek pilot episode. A pilot, if you do not know what that is when a writer or a creator of a show has an idea and gets funding to make a single episode of it that they will present to networks and see if it's going to be liked enough to be picked up for a series with a network. And this was the first pilot, and it's unusual for there to be more than one pilot, but Star Trek broke those rules, and it had two pilots for reasons that we'll get into in the video. This one was made in 1964 and completed in 1965. It stars the late Jeffrey Hunter, famous for being in westerns as Captain Christopher Pike. Not the original captain of the Enterprise, before the one everyone remembers, Captain James T. Kirk. There was another captain before Captain Christopher Pike. His name was Robert April. But this is based on the time when Christopher Pike was commanding the Enterprise. There is only one familiar face in this episode, if you're a fan of the original series, and that is Leonard Nimoy as Spock. And fittingly, Spock gets the very first line in Star Trek ever, which I think is absolutely so appropriate for Leonard Nimoy, because you think Star Trek, you really do think Spock more than anybody else. He is the definitive Star Trek character for me. It was directed by Robert Butler. The music, the wonderful Star Trek music, was by Alexander Courage. He composed the main Star Trek theme, and he did all of the music for all of the episodes, to my knowledge, for the first season of Star Trek. There were 3 seasons of the original, and additional composers came in later on, one at least. And it guest stars Susan Oliver as the main female lead for this episode, and it features Majel Barrett as well, who played many roles in Star Trek over the years, and married Star Trek's creator, the late Gene Roddenberry, also known as the Great Bird of the Galaxy. So let's get into it in a moment. I hope you won't find it too geeky, because my knowledge of Star Trek is very geeky. I notice things that a lot of people maybe would not, although there are many deeply geeky Star Trek passionate fans out there, equally as much as me. There are people who will know more than me, no doubt. But I am a heck of a geek. And one thing I should point out is that if we continue with this, I will be watching the original series in production order, not broadcast order, because wherever you watch this, on wherever it may be, on Netflix or Paramount Plus or wherever, they will have these to view in original broadcast order, which is just rubbish. It makes no sense for various reasons I'll get into. But I'm going to watch them in production order. If you're going to watch along, I encourage you to do the same. But anyway, enough setting the scene. Let's get into reviewing Star Trek, the first pilot, The Cage. All right, Star Trek, the pilot episode, The Cage. Here we go. It starts with the opening titles. Space, the final frontier. There's the Enterprise. Now watch, as we go into the bridge of the Enterprise here, watch the guy getting into the elevator. He has been digitally enhanced. I love the way he walks in. There you go. How great is that?
Check the circuit. All operating, sir.
Leonard Nimoy gets the first ever line in Star Trek.
Definitely something out there, Captain. Headed this way.
How appropriate. Very piercing red alert sound.
Coming the speed of light. Collision course.
That's Captain Pike. That's Tyler. Jose Tyler.
Meteorite beam is not deflected, Captain.
His uniform's very different from what we would come to know.
It's a radio wave, sir. We're passing through an old-style distress signal. That's it. No other message. I have a fix. It comes from the Talos Star Group.
No, thank you.
We've no ships or Earth colonies that far out.
Their call letters check with a survey expedition. SS Columbia.
Look how great Nimoy
Disappeared in
looks.
that region approximately 18 years ago.
And they could still be
That's
alive.
Major Barrett.
After 18 years.
If they survive the crash.
Playing number
We
one,
aren't going to go?
the first officer.
Be certain.
Not without any indication of survivors, no. We have the helm. Maintain present course.
Yes, sir.
This bridge is very bland compared to what it would become. Communicator.
Boys here.
Drop by my cabin, Doctor.
Very sparse captain's cabin compared to what they would become in later series of Star Trek. Here's the Doctor, Dr. Philip Boyce. Nice case.
Because we're going to stop first at the Vega colony and replace anybody who needs hospitalization. And also... The devil are you putting in there, Ice?
Who wants a warm martini? What's been on your mind, Chris? The fight on Rigel 7?
Shouldn't it be?
Well, now you're tired and you...
You bet I'm tired. I'm tired of being responsible for 203 lives and who lives and who dies.
203 lives on the Enterprise. That would later become more.
I've had it, Phil.
400.
To the point of finally taking my
28.
advice, arrest leave.
To the point of considering resigning. This isn't the only life available. There's a whole galaxy of things to choose from.
Not for you.
I love this line coming
A
up.
man either lives life as it happens to him, meets it head on and licks it, or he turns his back on it and starts to wither away.
There are crash survivors on Tellus.
So why didn't he use that to call the Doctor to his quarters instead of the communicator? Paper! Look
11
at this.
survivors from crash. Gravity and oxygen within limits. Food and water obtainable.
Address Intercraft.
System open.
This is the captain. Our destination is the Talos Star Group. Our time warp, factor 7.
Time warp factor.
Course computed and on the screen.
That would later become
All
just
decks have acknowledged,
warp
sir.
factor.
Engage.
Engage!
On course, sir.
Ah. Here comes the yeoman. Oh,
Yeoman,
Yes, sir.
I thought I told you that when I'm on the bridge, I excite.
But you wanted the reports by 0500. It's 0500 now, sir.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Her name is Yeoman Colt, although her name is never actually said in this episode.
Now, she does a good job, all right. It's just that I can't get used to having a woman on the bridge. No offense, Lieutenant. You're different, of course.
Now, there was already another woman on the bridge, so there was 3 women on the bridge. And that comment has not aged well. Believe it or not, that was probably considered quite progressive the time this was filmed. We've come a long way, and yet we still have a long way to go. Enterprise is coming into
orbit, sir.
of planet Talos 4.
Geological lab report complete, Captain.
Geological report.
Equip a landing party of 6. You feel up to it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Number 1 has to stay behind.
Sorry, number 1. A little information on this planet. We'll
Doesn't
have
look
to leave the
happy.
ship's most experienced officer here covering us.
Now, the reason I got excited about the geology report is that the guy delivering it actually is really an extra, but he makes another appearance in one more episode later where he is
No indication of problems.
a geologist.
Let's not take any chances.
Yes, sir.
The transporter. Now, this was written into the show basically because they didn't have the budget to film or create sets for a landing craft. This was actually quite clever, inventing teleportation. Different effect to what we would come to get used to, and different sound. Great sound effects. And look at this plant. The singing plant. And Spock smiles. This is not the Spock that we would come to know. There's the geologist. I'm going to call him Fisher,
Sir.
because that was his name in the other episode he appears in. Very soon in Series 1.
They're humans.
Captain Christopher Pike, United Spaceship Enterprise.
Is Earth all right?
The same old Earth, and you'll see it very soon.
Here is Susan Oliver.
This is Vina. She was born almost as we crashed.
The Talosians. It used to really freak me out as a kid, the way the veins in their head are throbbing. I just did not like that at all.
Enterprise,
Landing party, come in.
we'll begin transporting the survivors and our effects up to you very shortly.
You appear to be healthy and intelligent, Captain.
Affirmative on request. Landing party out.
Their health is excellent. Almost too good.
There's a reason for our condition. Let the girl show you.
You're tired. But don't worry, you'll feel much better soon. Don't you see it?
And she gone. And so have they. Hello. Psst. Cool jump, Tyler.
Spock here. This is all some sort of trap. We've lost the captain.
So this pilot episode was initially rejected by the networks for being too cerebral. And I think that's fair in many regards, but I love it. I love this episode. Always have, always will. But there's plenty of action in it as well, which has some good action right there. But as I've got older, I've wanted different things from Star Trek. When I was younger, I wanted the action, the excitement, the phasers and the fighting. But as I became older, I've appreciated more dialogue and more thoughtful, thought-provoking plots. Here we go. I used to call them bum heads. The back of their heads look like buttocks.
Can you hear me?
Defensive
Commander
stance,
of the Space
arms
Vehicle
folded.
Enterprise from a stellar group at the other end of this galaxy.
It appears, Magistrate, that the intelligence of the specimen is shockingly limited.
This is no surprise, since his vessel was baited here so easily with a simulated message.
Now, unless you want my ship to consider capturing me an unfriendly act.
You'll now see the primitive fear-threat reaction. The creature will throw himself against the transparency.
If you were in here, wouldn't you test the strength of these walls, too? There's a way out of any cage, and I'll find it.
We can soon begin the experiment.
Don't like the sound of that.
Now, our tests indicate the planet's surface without considerably more vegetation or some animals. Simply too barren to support life.
So we just thought we saw survivors there, Mr. Spock.
Exactly. Brains 3 times the size of ours. If we start buzzing about down there, we're liable to find their mental power is so great, they could reach out and swat this ship as though it were a fly.
Your decision, number 1.
Engineering deck will rig to transmit ship's power. We'll try blasting through that metal.
We will see a lot of Majel Barrett throughout Star Trek. She would later become Majel Barrett Roddenberry. She married Gene Roddenberry. Her character name is actually Una Chin Riley. This was not known for a very long time though, but she largely gets referred to as number 1.
I read most strongly a recent death struggle in which it fought to protect its life. We will begin with this.
Many of the Telosians were played by women, including the main one, whose name I can't remember now, but a very famous actress.
This is Rigel 7.
Longer hair, different dress, but it is you. The one that survivors call Vina.
Great music right from the start as well.
If you attack while it's not looking.
But it's only a dream.
See, plenty of action, not so cerebral.
Why would an illusion be frightening?
Because that's the way you imagined me.
telegraphed that. Right into it. And we're back in the cell. Or did we ever leave?
It's over.
Why are you here?
Please you.
Are you real?
As real as you wish.
Oh, no. No, that's not any answer. I've never met you before, never even imagined you. They want to see how I react, is that it?
Let me please you.
Is there any way I can keep them from probing my mind and from using my thoughts against me?
You're a fool.
And number one gets to go this time.
Take cover.
10.
She leaves
9,
Spock on the ship.
8. The circuits are beginning to heat. We'll have to seize power.
The top of that nose should have been sheared off the first second.
Maybe it was. It's what I tried to explain in the briefing room. Their power of illusion is so great we can't be sure of anything we do, anything we see.
Perhaps if you asked me some questions, I could answer.
How far can they control my mind?
They can't actually make you do anything you don't want to.
But they try to trick me with their illusions.
You're better than a theater to them. They create an illusion for you. They watch you react, feel your emotions.
Which means they had to have more than one of each animal. They'll need a pair of humans, too. Where do they intend to get the Earth Woman?
I'm a woman, as real and as human as you are. We're like Adam and Eve. If we can...
The vial contains a nourishing protein complex. You will now consume the nourishment.
Just put irresistible hunger in my mind. That's very interesting. You were startled. Weren't you reading my mind then?
As you've conjectured, an Earth vessel did crash on our planet, but with only a single survivor.
All right, let's talk about the girl. I'm the one who's not cooperating. Why don't you punish me?
First, an emotion of protectiveness. Now, one of sympathy.
Excellent. Right out with a picnic lunch every day. I love horses. My favorite animal.
Just about 24 hours ago, I was telling the ship's doctor how much I wanted something that was not very different from what we have here. And now that I have it, I understand the doctor's answer. Because you either live like, or you turn your back on it and start dying.
We need the challenge.
First, they made me protect you and then feel sympathy for you. And now we have these familiar surroundings and a comfortable relationship. We're in a menagerie, a cage.
No.
Back in my cage, it seemed for a couple of minutes that our keeper couldn't read my thoughts. Do emotions like hate, does that block off our mind from them?
Can't read through primitive emotions. They read my thoughts, my feelings, my dreams of what would be a perfect man. That's why they picked you.
If they can read my mind, then they know I'm attracted to you.
They have fantasies they hide even from themselves.
A person's strongest dreams are about what he can't do. Yes, a ship's captain. So decent and honest and proper. He must wonder what it would be like to forget all that.
Oh, he's starting to lose it. Oh, where did that go? Where did the dog go? Here she is.
We're hoping to transport down inside the Telosian community.
Let's try again. What's those little view screens there? Classic line coming up here from Nimoy. No women!
Captain!
No, let me finish!
Were they still in the illusion
We were
there?
a party of
And they were
6.
brought
We
back.
were the only ones transported.
Number 1 was the logical, cold one in the pilot. Spock was not so much.
It's not fair! I did what you asked.
Since you resist the present specimen, you now have a selection.
I'll break out of this zoo
Selection.
somehow and get to you.
The female you call number 1 has the superior mind and would produce highly intelligent children. The other new arrival has considered you unreachable, but now is realizing this has changed. The factors in her favor are youth and strength, plus unusually strong female drives.
You'll find my thoughts
Embarrassing
more
again.
interesting.
Wrong thinking is punishable. Right thinking will be as quickly rewarded.
Right and wrong thinking. Off you go, bumhead.
I have to concentrate. They can't read through hate.
This is the acting captain speaking. We're leaving.
Why's Tyler changed
All decks,
station?
prepare for hyperdrive.
Mr. Spock, the ship's controls have gone dead. There's nothing. Every system aboard is fading out.
Can't believe he was going to run. Come on, Spock. Oh, sneaky. Could you really hold that thought of hate constantly for so long? I don't know if you could. Good bet.
Are you hold still,
Don't
Rubric?
hurt them. They don't mean to be evil.
Your ship will destroy it.
Let's take the bridge apart.
Nothing. Not to the batteries, we'd lose gravitation. Oxygen. The computers! Collecting all the information stored in this line. They've decided to swat us.
I'm going to gamble you're too intelligent to kill for no reason at all. I'm willing to bet you've created an illusion this laser is empty. I think it just blasted a hole in that window and you're keeping us from seeing it.
Yeah, good idea.
Captain!
Fina, don't look happy. But she's tagging along anyway. Mind your head, Pike. And it was an illusion that cut through.
As you see, your attempt to escape accomplished nothing. You are now on the surface where we wished you to be. You will now begin carefully guided lives. Our zoological gardens will furnish a variety of plant life.
You give me proof that our ship is all right, send these two back, and I'll stay with Vina.
You'll notice the keeper's voice changes at times. That's because there were different versions of this pilot. One was in black and white, and one was in
Is
colour.
this a deception?
And there was a mixed version too.
Do you intend to destroy yourselves?
And they re-recorded some of the
The weapon is building up an overload, a forced
voices.
chamber explosion.
I'm not sure if they re-recorded them, maybe they just enhanced them. Oh, here comes some backup.
Wait.
Well, there go those veins again. I still don't like those.
The customs and history of your race show a unique hatred of captivity. You prefer death.
Your unsuitability has condemned the Telosian race to eventual death.
No other specimen has shown your adaptability. You were our last hope.
Let's get back to the ship.
I can't go with you.
All power has come on, Mr. Spock. The helm is answering to control.
Why were they just there in the transporter room? The young cult. He's number one.
The captain.
Prince there, this was some very good effects to show this transformation. What Vina really looks like. Great makeup.
This is the female's true appearance.
They had never seen a human. They had no guide for putting me back together.
You'll give her back her illusion of beauty.
And more.
Yay, she gets her very own illusion pike plaything. I'm sure she'll be very happy with him.
She has an illusion, and you have reality. May you find your way as pleasant.
What's happened to Vina? Isn't she coming with us?
No.
Great lift door sounds.
Yeah, you look 100% better.
I've even been home. Does that make you happy? Yeoman?
Yes, sir.
I thought I told you that when I'm on the bridge,
Here's your reports.
I was wondering, who would have been Eve?
Yeoman?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Eve as in Adam?
as in all ship's doctors, a dirty old man.
What a sweeping generalization.
What are we running here? A cadet ship number 1? Are we ready or not?
All decks are ready, sir.
Engage. And there we go. I loved that. You know, it was dismissed by the networks for being too cerebral, too thoughtful, and it has elements of that for sure. It makes you think, which I like. I mean, as I was growing up, I loved all the action and the fighting and the phasers and the ships and all that. And we'll get to ships because I'm a starship guy. I love a starship, but I love a thoughtful, thought-provoking piece of television, and this is certainly that. It gets you thinking about the human condition, for sure. But I thought it was excellent. I thought the cast and the casting of the main characters, Captain Christopher Pike and Vina, respectively played by Jeffrey Hunter and Susan Oliver, perfectly cast. Wonderful chemistry. Really, really enjoyed their interactions in the show. The supporting cast of characters as well. Early Spock is not the Spock that we will come to know and love. He's very emotional in this first one. He smiles. I mean, he does smile. It's a misconception to think that Spock doesn't smile in Star Trek. Vulcans do have emotions. They just don't show them as often as humans. And of course, Spock, as we will later come to learn, is half Vulcan, half human. So, a very different Spock though, but I loved Leonard Nimoy's performance in this episode. He's very shouty in it. He's very sort of, check the circuit, and very, very loud. Mr. Spock here. But I love it. It's really cool. How does this stand up today, this episode, in terms of socially, culturally, where we're at now? The first thing that is very, very obvious is the attitudes towards women at the time of filming in the mid-60s. And Pike, when confronted by his new yeoman Colt, when she bumps into him on the bridge delivering the reports, he reacts to his first officer, number one, who is also a woman, that he can't get used to having a woman on the bridge. And she's jarred by that. She's like, what now? Hey, I'm a woman. And he's like, in response, no offense, Lieutenant, you're different, of course. So that's not really a compliment, and it's not good overall. That has not aged well. But at the time, that was probably very, very progressive. It really was. But it's jarring. It takes you out of the episode because it's not how we think. Thank goodness today, and. Females in positions of authority and responsibility and power is very acceptable, and rightly so today, and not something that should have raised eyebrows to, if I can do that in a Vulcan way. So that was jarring. Obviously the effects are not what we would come to expect today, although every episode of original Star Trek that we're going to go through, including this one, have been remastered in terms of the spaceship effects. And there are not many spaceship effects in this pilot. We see the Enterprise, but it's not heroed in ways that it would come to be later on. So there's not much in the way of visual effects. The planets are very plasticky, plastic rocks. We'll get used to that, although sometimes in episodes to come we will see them go on location to some real outdoor places, which is always nice. They go to a place called Vasquez Rocks quite a lot. That's a repeat location that they go to, which is a very sort of deserty place, and that becomes iconic. They still film there today for new episodes of Star Trek occasionally, which is really cool. What else? The music I loved, absolutely loved the music. I'm a huge film and TV composer fan. I love all my composers. I love Hans Zimmer, I love John Williams, I love Howard Shore, James Horner. We have a lot of composers to look forward to as we go beyond Star Trek, the original series, into the movies and the spin-off TV series and whatnot. So I'm always going to be paying attention to the music and how it fits in with the story and the narrative, etc. So that was great. Alexander Courage did an iconic Star Trek original theme, right from the get-go. It's the first thing you hear, which is brilliant. So loved that. And yeah, I think that's just about it. So let me know what you think of this little diversion into reacting to the original series of Star Trek and hopefully beyond. Let me know if you're a fan of Star Trek yourself. Some of my members have actually already said that they love Star Trek themselves and lots of other things, and have said they'll happily watch this on my channel. If this takes off, I'll continue to do it on this channel, but I might actually put these videos on a dedicated channel as well. But it is something I'm hugely passionate about, and hopefully we can continue to do it. And hopefully I've edited it in the right way and blurred out and blacked out. You will have noticed that, actually. That's important to mention, that because I don't want to get the video taken down due to copyright. So I've watched other reaction channels and seen how they blur things out and black things out, and it's not the whole episode. It's sort of patched the important bits together. Hopefully I've done enough of that not to have it taken down and get my wrist slapped. So we'll see, fingers crossed. But anyway, let's leave it there. Please let me know what you thought. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And in what will become the customary fashion to sign off these videos, I will say to you, live long and prosper. Did that get in the shot? A bit higher up? Yeah, see if you can master that. The Vulcan salute. All right, take care. See you soon. Bye.